Hi guys, so in this video we're going to be looking a little bit more in depth in gardening and giving you some little tips about stuff you can grow in your garden and just a few tips about gardening. So here we go. So first off, we're going to start off by talking about Buxus sempervirens. Now Buxus sempervirens is a really good evergreen plant that gives structure to your garden. Now Buxus is used mostly in formal gardens. You probably most know it for the Buxus hedge, which is nice formal hedging that lines round. Knot gardens is one you see. If you go to these fancy houses, you will see box hedging because it was very popular in gardens, and most country houses have formal gardens. They use box hedging. It's really good in your garden. You can get in different types. You can get in the box hedging. I went to the garden centre today and just buy a box as it is, and just let it grow up and cut it and trim it, whatever. It's very slow growing, so it'll grow up and it can make a nice hedge, and you can cut it and prune it. This is a nice pyramid form, so it gives some nice form to your garden. You can also buy it in Buxus balls, so they give a round kind of structure. But they're really good in your garden because they really give a good, wonderful structure in your garden. And they're evergreen, so they're all through winter. They're going to be a permanent feature in your garden. You're still going to have that foliage to look at during winter, and it won't look so depressing. Okay, so let's talk about the different types of plants you can have in your garden. Your plants in your garden can either be evergreen, which means they're going to be green all year round and give that lovely, beautiful structure in your garden. They can be deciduous, which means that they drop their leaves in winter. You can also your plants can be perennials, which means they last 3 or more years. And most perennials are called herbaceous perennials, which means they die back to the ground in winter, then grow back in the spring. Your plants can be biennials, which means that they last only 2 years, which means most biennials will shoot up, put lots of green growth in the first year, flower in the second year. Digitalis foxglove is an example of that. Or they can be annuals, like petunias, that will last just 1 year. They will grow and flower in 1 year and then die back and they're gone. So that's the different types of plants. Next I'm going to talk about acidic plants. Now the plants behind me are acidic, which means that they will only grow in acidic soil. Now acidic soil it has a low pH, so acid is a low pH, alkaline is a high pH, and most plants need to have a pH level about 5 to 7, which is the average in the middle. So slightly alkaline, but not neutral or acid. So most plants will grow in a slightly alkaline soil, and that's what they want. But some plants like azaleas, camellias, heathers, rhododendrons, blueberries, they're all going to want acidic soil. Now if you go to the garden centre, the soil you want is called ericaceous. So ericaceous compost is what you need for your plants. And do not, if you live somewhere like Sussex or live somewhere that's got quite a chalky, alkaline-y, rocky kind of area, the water is going to have a bit of that in there, so the water is going to be very alkaline, and so you want to either add a bit of vinegar into your water or feed it with rainwater. Rainwater is what the plants naturally need, so it's best to store some rainwater somewhere and then water your plants with the rainwater. You can grow them in pots, or you can grow them in a special raised acid ericaceous bed. But these are beautiful azaleas, pink azaleas, and then rhododendrons. I wouldn't really put them in the same pot, but I can't help it. But I will eventually put them in different pots. But that is acid-loving plants. Right, so now I'm going to talk about hanging baskets. Now hanging baskets are great because you can grow make beautiful displays, and they can give some height to your garden as well. Now you can hang them off anything. This is hanging off a tree, but you can buy special rods to put them on and attach them to. You can have them by your door, you can have them anywhere. But they're really good because they get lovely, beautiful flowers, and most of these in hanger baskets are annuals, but you can put more structured ones. We include a little shrub, like a little buxus or a yew or something, and fill them. And also they're good for seasonal plants as well, so you can have one for autumn, one for spring, one for summer, so they're good all year round, and you can change them with your how you feel as well. So they're really good, beautiful, and you can grow some beautiful plants like fuchsias, petunias, lobelia, so they're really good for that. Now, quite a few people, when doing gardening, want to include vegetables into their garden or into some apples into your garden. Now, apple trees are really nice to grow. What you do is that when you're planting your apple tree, you dig a really big hole, which is wider than the root ball. You can either get it bare root when they're not in flower, so they haven't got green, so when they've dropped all the leaves, there'll be bare root and there'll just be a stem, and that's where you can get them in the winter. Or if you want to buy them out of winter, they'll come in a little container. If you want to pick a nice big thing, and you need to stake them. Now normally you would stake it at an angle, but because it's against a wall I couldn't really do that, but you would stake it at an angle. This is a dwarf variety, so most dwarf varieties have to be staked, and make sure you water them really good for their first year so they get well established into the ground. Growing apples, most of them aren't self-fertile, so you would need to grow 2 varieties in your garden so they can pollinate each other. Just like with clematis, they have different flowering groups. So one would be flowering group 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's when they're going to flower throughout the year. You need to get 2 varieties that flower at the same time so they can pollinate each other. Or you can pollinate them with like a paintbrush or something, but need to be at the flowering at the same time. Some of them are self-fertile, like the Granny Smith. If you're buying a brambly apple, the cooking apple, you need to have 3 of them to get a crop. So if you've got a small garden, having a brambly apple is not going to be a very good apple to buy, because you need to have 3 of them. But these are alright because these 2 self-fertile, and they don't need to be in the same area. They can be opposite ends of the garden. As long as they're in the same garden, they're going to pollinate each other. Now, a great way to add height and structure to your garden is to grow climbers. I absolutely adore climbers, and you get lots of beautiful, wonderful climbers. Like jasmine, jasminium, clematis, honeysuckle, passion flower. So you can grow lots of different varieties, and there's hundreds of varieties of clematis, honeysuckle, jasmine. So you can grow loads of them and grow them up a trellis, grow them on wires, but they give really good height to your garden, as well as giving beautiful, beautiful flowers and gorgeous scent. Now, one of my absolute passions is herbs. I absolutely adore herbs, and herbs are a good way, a good thing to grow in your garden, because 1, you can take them in and put them in your garden, and 2, they give a beautiful, beautiful scent. Things like lavender. Lavender are absolutely fantastic in your garden. You can grow them on the edge of your borders, so they climb over, and as you brush past them, you get a beautiful, beautiful scent. Also good if you've got a water feature in your garden, an actual moving water, because water feature means anything in your garden that's water. So it can be a trough, it can be a pond, so or moving water, a water fountain or something. Plant some lavender by it, and it really gives that scent out. You can cut them down, put them in little bags and put them in around your house, so your house smells of lavender, or put them in a cupboard to make your clothes smell of lavender. So lavender is really one good one to have in your garden. Other fantastic ones are sage. Sage is beautiful. It's a salvia. You can get flowering salvias as well. Mint is another good one, but mint is extremely invasive, so you need to grow that in a pot, and I would put the pot in the border if you're going to have it in a border, but I would grow it in pots because the roots are extremely invasive and they will spread throughout your entire garden, and they will fill your garden with mint, which you don't really want. But you can get lots of different varieties of mint. You can get apple mint, which is my favourite. This is a variegated apple mint. You can get lots of different types of mint, pineapple mint, grapefruit mint, all these one of things, or the peppermint is the one you get in your toothpaste and whatever. And you can grow lots of other herbs. Rosemary. Thyme is good to put in paths, so if you've got all your paving, plant some thyme beneath it, and as you brush over it you'll get a beautiful scent. You can also do that with chamomile as well. You can have a chamomile lawn, which the Victorians used to have, and you tread on them with a beautiful smell as well. And you can grow lots of beautiful herbs, but you need to look at what soil these herbs need. You need to think about where these came from. Most herbs, these are Italian Mediterranean herbs, so they're going to need good drainage because they come from a hot country. But other herbs do not need as much drainage, so you need to think what the plant needs, what sun it needs, and what soil it needs. but I absolutely adore herbs. They smell absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't have a garden without them.